Hi, I'm Dana. In this video, I'll share a simple step-by-step method to get control of whatever space you have, big or small. I call it the life decluttered method. And I really think it will help make decluttering feel more doable and a lot less stressful. I've been decluttering for many years. My biggest declutter is when I downsized into this granny flat about 5 years ago. But before I introduce you to the method, let me ask, have you ever stood in the middle of a room and thought, where do I even start? Maybe you've tried decluttering before, but the mess just crept back in. Or maybe you've been avoiding it altogether because just the idea of decluttering feels overwhelming. The memories, the guilt, the sheer amount of stuff. I totally get it. And you're not alone. I have an area of my house that I've been ignoring ever since I moved into my granny flat. It's the back of my closet. It's a combination of where do I start and I really don't want to do it. And I know some of you can relate. One viewer told me that they've been avoiding their garage for years because just opening the door feels impossible. The life decluttered method. Before I started this channel, I never thought much about the steps I used to declutter. I just did them. But now I realize it's important to not just give examples of why decluttering in midlife and beyond is so hard and give you a few tips and tricks, but also to give you something more concrete. So I broke down my process into what I call the life decluttered method. I think it's simple and it works because it gives you structure and breathing room. In this method, you decide what stays and what goes. And if nothing goes, that's okay. You made that choice that everything fits in your life right now. I'll use the back of my closet as an example. Remember to start with one area, room, or category at a time. Step 1 is L, let go, but only what doesn't belong. This doesn't mean tossing everything. It means starting with what you already know doesn't belong in the space. Clear out trash, broken items, and things that obviously belong somewhere else. Okay, here's the back of my closet. It has a bunch of random things, a suitcase, sketchbook, and things in containers. So I'm going to just opt to take everything out of this small, tight space. And this way I can go through things. I found my old design portfolio, so I'm going to pull out some books that I can actually put on the bookshelves. Photos in photo albums, I'm going to start taking them out, and things like posters and things that belong to other people. These are easy for me to just move them out of the space and take care of this first step of letting go. Step 2 is I. Identify. Make it visible by putting like items together. Once you clear the obvious, group like items together so you can see what you really own. All the books in one pile, all the shirts on the bed, all the skincare bottles in one bin, for example. This is where those aha moments happen. Okay, so this step has already been done since most everything was already in containers and categorized. But I was able to take care of the few stragglers and put them where they belong. I also found some handmade Christmas ornaments that were stuffed into a gift wrapping bin. These ornaments were made with my mom and my daughters when my mom was staying in assisted living. These will go into the Christmas ornament bin so I can actually use them. Step 3 is F. Focus. Decide with clarity and ease. This is where most of us get stuck. You pick up an item and hesitate. Here's what I do. If it's a quick pause, I'll keep it. It's better to keep something than regret tossing it. But if you pause and start debating with yourself, that's a focus bin item. Put it in the bin and revisit it when you have time to really think about the items. All right, this one's a tough one. I just found my jewelry making bin, and I don't know what it is about crafting, but these kinds of items can be very difficult to declutter because I think there's so many different decluttering roadblocks associated with crafting items. One right off the top of my head is that we're always thinking that we'll use it one day. Like I'm thinking, oh, I can use this with my daughters or even my granddaughter when she gets older. The other thing that's really blocking me is the amount of money that I spent to purchase all these items. And so, it's a bit of, I guess, money guilt. It's a bit of like fantasy self, like thinking that I'm going to do it in the future. But because I'm hesitating so long, and it's not an easy yes, no, it falls into the focus bin rule. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this whole bin as one of the focus bins. And, I'll come back and revisit it probably in about a year or so and see how I feel about it. I'm just not ready to let it go. You can come back to your focus bin at any time you're ready. When I went through my mom's purses, I froze on every one. My daughters chose a few, I kept 2, and sold the rest. But it took a year, and the focus bin gave me permission not to rush. An important aspect of my decluttering method is having keepsake bins. For items that symbolize past identities or mementos that hold a lot of memories, keep them, but only what your space will allow. I have 3, and I could actually keep more, but for now, this is all I need. So figure out how many bins you can have and have these ready for you to fill. So I realized that I have enough space in my closet to store my 3 keepsake bins. So I grabbed them from the garage and switched everything into these clear plastic bins instead of the 3 mismatched ones that don't stack very well on top of each other. I have a bunch of these plastic bins, so I might as well use them. It's actually great to get my keepsakes out of the garage and have them closer to me. I just feel better having them in the bedroom. Step 4 is E, embrace. Fits in your life right now. This step is the heart of it all. After you've done a lot of hard work, embrace what fits today's version of you. Keep what you use, what brings you joy, what supports the life you're actually living right now. If necessary, contain items and put them in their space. You don't need fancy organizers. I've used shoe boxes plenty of times. I have some labels from my thrifting business, as well as these label holders I used for shipping. I still have a bunch, so I use them for my bins. Labeling your bins makes it so much easier to find things. This step was fairly easy since most everything was already categorized. Now all my stuff that should be back here is here and clearly labeled. I love it, and I still have more space. And for the rest, release them with love. Donate, sell, pass them on. Sometimes I even thank and say goodbye to items before letting them go. It sounds silly, but it really does bring peace and closure. I always remind myself my space decides how much I can have. So if the back of my closet only fits 4 storage bins, that's my limit. And honestly, that boundary is really helpful. So that's the life decluttered method. Let go, identify, focus, embrace. It's not about rushing or stripping your home bare. It's about having a system that makes decluttering less overwhelming. And honestly, decluttering isn't a one and done kind of thing. It's something we need to keep periodically doing in order to keep our homes calm and manageable. Why decluttering is so hard. For those of us over 50, we've accumulated a lifetime of things. Sentimental keepsakes, items that no longer represent who we are today, family heirlooms, guilt holders, just in case items. And research backs up why this is so draining. A UCLA study found that women who described their homes as cluttered had higher levels of stress hormones throughout the day. No wonder even simple tasks feel exhausting in a cluttered environment. But the reasons go deeper too. Take identity issues. I used to keep stacks of my graphic design printed materials. Some of them were 30 years old. Part of me thought, if I let these go, am I letting go of who I used to be? And the answer is no. I still have all those years of experience and training. I just no longer work in that profession. Over the years, I've photographed them instead of keeping boxes and boxes of those printed samples. I even had them on my website. When I decided to take down my site, I video recorded it first. This process of documenting my work took years because I wasn't ready at first to let go of my samples or my website. What if I decided to go back into graphic design? I might need them. But photographing them was the answer, and that's why I rely on photos before letting go. I keep these photos on hard drives, and here's the truth, I never look at them. But they are there just in case. We also hang on to things for our future or fantasy selves. We keep items for the person we imagine will be someday. Like, one day I'll host dinner parties, so I should keep 12 wine glasses. But I had to face reality. I don't host fancy parties anymore. I don't even drink. So now, if I have a small gathering, mason jars do just fine. Fancy wine glasses were for my 30s and 40s. Then there are heirlooms and gifts. It feels heartless to part with things family or friends gave us, even if they've never been used. One viewer, Jill, shared how she hung on to her grandmother's china and silver for years until she finally gave them to a friend who hosts big family dinners. Now, Jill receives photos of her friend's table, and it makes her so happy to see those items making new memories. And of course, there's the I spent a lot of money on this category. This is so common. But keeping these things isn't helping us. They add clutter, remind us of money spent, and often tie back to our fantasy selves. Another viewer, Bill, plans to sell some of his items. He'll get back some of the costs, but even more importantly, he'll get back space and peace of mind. When we remember these reasons, it makes decluttering easier. It's a process. We have to be okay saying, that was someone I was 10 years ago. I still have those experiences and memories, but that's not who I am today. This method also gives you time to be ready to let go or not let go. So I'll give you a personal example here. My piano. It was a gift from my uncle, so hard to part with. And it also fell into fantasy self. Either me or my daughter would learn to play someday. Identity, being a good mom who provides lessons. But the reality was that my daughter didn't enjoy it and I never had time, and it moved with me 3 times. That piano was in my focus bin for years. Finally, I accepted that playing just wasn't going to happen. I wanted the space more than the piano. And when I finally let it go, I felt so free. When I tackled the back of my closet, I didn't keep everything, but I also didn't pressure myself to let go of the hardest items. And you know what? I feel good because I didn't rush. I chose. If you'd like a free Life Decluttered guide, click on the link below and let me know, which step do you think will help you the most? Or what's the hardest category for you to face right now? I believe having a calm, organized home, just the way you want it, is one of the best ways to find wellness in life. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.